You're buckled up, and I got to get buckled up.
I'm all buckled up. With gas prices, I'm assuming this will be a short cruise.
This is, well, you know, I'm in real estate, so it's going to be a longer cruise than it is, you know, buying stuff for building a house right now. That's expensive. Meet Ron Ryan, board member of the Kansas Aviation Museum and formerly with Ryan International Airlines. Not only is Ron involved with a lot of Wichita's aviation history, he's also an integral part of preserving that history for future generations. Hey, this is Kirk Short with the Wichita home team at Keller Williams Signature Partners, and this is another episode of Cruising with Kirk. And today I'm super excited. I have Ron Ryan, who is a board member with me with the Kansas Aviation Museum. And he used to have Ryan International Aviation, and we're going to go and drive around and learn a little bit more about Ryan. So Ryan, thank you, buddy, for
Well, thank you for asking me.
coming here with me. We did a podcast here earlier, so be sure and check that out. In that podcast that we did earlier, we learned a lot about what made Ron, how he came to be and all that. And you know, I wanted to take a moment and learn about the things that aren't as much business about Ron. And so we're going to go for a little cruise and talk. Are you good with that?
I'm good with that.
Awesome. Let's get going. So how have you been?
I've been well. The good Lord has watched over me in spite of the dumb things that I've done and continue to do.
Oh my. Well, I hear you're a man of many things, and love to fly. You love to travel, and but I want to know more.
Well, we just got back from Belize yesterday, St. George's Cay. We spent a week there and absolutely loved it. No TV, no internet. Just sand and beach and sun and good food and good people.
That sounds absolutely beautiful. I've heard a lot about Belize. I have never been there, and from our conversation before a little bit about that, I definitely think that I need to go put that on a one of my to-go places. What's the favorite place you've ever visited?
Israel.
Really?
I've been there 8 times.
Really?
I'm looking forward to going back. Such a very small piece of geography on this world that has had so much to do with mankind and how we live our lives or don't. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, the history of all of that stuff and going and you know, if you read the Bible and you look at all of that, there's a lot of amazing things out that way. One of the things that you mentioned here, and we talked about in that podcast we did earlier, you're now an author. Now, is this the first time that you've become an author?
Yes, and that came about not because of my ego, I hope, but because my kids and my brothers and sisters, every time we'd sit down, some story would come up and they kept saying, "You need to write this down. You need to write this down." And when my wife started saying you needed to write this down, I, remember those 2 words to a successful marriage is yes, dear.
Yes. I'm not going to call you dear then.
So I've worked on this for a couple of years, but it's just been a whole series of stories and my wife and a couple of other people have kind of put it all together.
So tell me, what's the name of the book?
It's going to be How to Make Money Out of Thin Air.
Okay. And how soon is that coming out?
Within a couple of weeks. We're hopeful that this final edition that I have is going to be the final edition.
Good.
We're going through it for any corrections or mistakes, and then we'll have the book printed.
So the Kansas Aviation Museum is going to be one of your main outlets for the book.
It will be the main outlet for the book.
Okay, it is the main outlet for the book. So for those of you that don't, again, know, Ron's on the board of directors for the Kansas Aviation Museum and is an avid supporter. And I can tell all of you that it's much, much, much appreciated. Tell us why you're involved with the Kansas Aviation Museum.
Well, when I came to Wichita in 1968, I really thought aviation capital of the world was an over-exaggeration. And after being here for a while, I found out it was an under-exaggeration, because it really is the aviation capital of the world. But I thought as well that it was just because it was flat and windy. And it is flat and it is windy. But that's not why aviation got started here, because we had an entrepreneurial spirit with Beach, Cessna, and metal and Stearman. Yeah. I was thinking of Bill Lear because I had the pleasure of knowing Bill Lear.
Yeah.
But anyway, and Jake Mollendick, who was the oil guy that had the money. So you had investment capital and you had the entrepreneurship, and it all came together. And that's happened in Wichita, in not just aviation, but in so many different businesses.
Right.
But as I travel around the country, because my business, my airline, took me all around the world, and when people had asked me where I'm from, I'd say, Wichita, Kansas. Huh? What's in Wichita? I said, well, just look out on that ramp. There'll be a Cessna or a Beechcraft or a Learjet or something, or Boeing sitting out there. And I said, that's part of Wichita right there.
Absolutely.
And it's even true today.
So for those of you that are watching that don't know this, Ron had a little company called Ryan Aviation, and that happened to own 60 large aircraft at one point in time.
Yes, we did. Mm-hmm.
And
it was Ryan International Airlines.
And you've made your mark on Wichita, and so you've had a long history here,
yeah,
especially in aviation.
But Wichita's made its mark on me too, because I was fortunate enough to come to work for a guy by the name of Jack DeBoer.
Yeah.
And then eventually evolve into working with as a partner with George Ablaw, and those two individuals, incredibly bright entrepreneurs that did a lot for this city.
You have this involvement with the museum. What do you love most at the museum? If there's a single exhibit other than your plane out there, if there's a single exhibit out there, what is it and why?
I would say it's the Swallow, the Laird Swallow. It's the airplane that got Cessna and Beech and Stearman all together. It's what brought them into a manufacturing process that evolved into what we have today.
So we wouldn't be the aviation capital of the world without that aircraft.
That's
realistically.
Correct. That's correct.
Now that's really cool.
And I think we had 20 or 30 aircraft manufacturing plants in this city over the years, but kind of like the automobile, there were lots of people who tried to develop the automobile and were unsuccessful.
Right.
But the ones that were successful were very successful.
So the Swallow that's at the museum is a reproduction?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's because it was basically an all-wood aircraft.
Yes.
But what's really neat at the museum, and you'll see some pictures on here, you get to see how it was built effectively, because they've got the complete cutaway on the side.
Yes.
and it. I'm telling you, that's kind of like putting together some lollipop sticks and a few toothpicks and saying, let's go get up in the air and fly. Yeah, it's definitely been an interesting history with, I learn more and more as my involvement with the museum goes, about this history and stuff, and it's incredible. And more importantly, the work that the museum volunteers have done to bring these aircraft back to life, mm-hmm. and for some of them literally back to life.
Doc's a good example.
Yes.
I've had the pleasure of working with Jeff Turner since the beginning of putting Doc together here in Wichita, it's out flying today on successful tours around the United States, giving rides and showing itself off and trying to support itself financially.
It's it's a labor of love for a lot of people. It's not done by to none of this is done to sit there and make money.
Yeah.
It's done to preserve history.
This building was our offices right here.
Right here?
Yep.
No
It
kidding.
was the old telephone computer building. And
Yes.
we bought it and renovated it and moved our airline and operated out of here for several years.
I did not know that.
Yeah, we put the
266 North Main.
And we put the basement in, the parking down there, and it was a very enjoyable experience to be in downtown Wichita. It was kind of when downtown was dying,
Yes.
we were buying. This building here, we had the entire 5th floor before we sold the first time.
Oh, the one that Cargill's in,
Mm-hmm.
or was in.
Was in. That building was owned by George Abloh.
Really?
And we leased the 5th floor when we sold to PHH.
No, that's cool. Well, I did not intentionally drive down here to bring that back, but it's it's kind of neat looking at the the history of things and the memories and stuff like that. One of the things I like to do in my videos is I always like to have a giveaway, okay? And I haven't talked to you prior to this about what we're going to do because I don't know what we're going to do.
That's great.
But
I don't either.
because of aviation, I want to give away some tickets for some families to visit the Kansas Aviation Museum on me. Okay?
Good for you. Good
And I think this would be a neat opportunity. So I want to propose something, and you can tell me what we do. I want to propose something where people will leave comments or remarks on the social media for us, and we're going to go and pick a winner out of that and give away some of these tickets. So a series of winners out of it. And so what do you think we should ask them that's aviation related to comment?
Do you think aviation is safe or unsafe? Because quite frankly, it's the safest mode of transportation man's ever come up with now. It didn't used to be, but it is today. And why would you want to fly? Why would you want to be a pilot? What is it about it that is exciting or interesting?
I like that. So we're going to say that this is going to be more about being a discussion. So anybody getting on and posting about why they want to fly, do they think it's safe or not?
Mm-hmm.
Anything in that realm, we're going to put all of those people into a drawing for some memberships, or at least some passes to get into the museum for their family.
Good.
And do that. I like that. I think that would be great. Well, I immensely appreciated this opportunity to sit down with you and have a conversation about you, life, aviation, volunteerism, all of that. Because without individuals like yourself, a lot of the stuff, the history that places like Wichita have don't exist. Whether it's from preserving history or, in your case as well, creating history for our community. So thank you very much for being a part of that.
Thank you. I'm so glad. I knew Bill Lair. I knew Beechcraft, Dwayne Wallace, Velma Wallace.
Pioneers.
Yeah, all pioneers. Yeah, one of the Stearman brothers. So it's been pretty incredible. Now, one thing we hadn't talked about, but I would do.
What's that?
If you'll get a hold of the Starkey people, the Starkey Foundation here in Wichita, and if they'll bring a busload of their people out to the Kansas Aviation Museum, I will pay for their admission.
You know what? I will make that happen.
Because there's some really neat people out there.
There is some neat people out there at Starkey.
Mm-hmm. They do a great job.
I appreciate you doing that. We will absolutely make that happen then. Well, I I want to take the time to thank everybody for watching this video. We're at a stoplight and I can do this. Again, if you like our videos, please hit the like and subscribe and keep following us. We're going to try to do more as COVID is slowly getting itself under control. But it's giving us opportunities like this to, again, learn about other people. That's my reasoning for being involved with the museum, is because it's taking stories and sharing them. I really enjoy that. So again, thank you, Ron, for being you, being candid, and being a part of my videos.
Thank you for this opportunity. I enjoy it. If I can do anything to promote CAM or DOC or aviation in Wichita, or Wichita itself, I consider it a privilege to do, because too much is given, much is expected. This city has given us a lot.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
That was good.